What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Afsal Hussain. You can find out a bit more about me through the social media links below, or you can check out my website, which is www.afsalhussain.com. In today's video, it's been a video I've been meaning to do for a very long time. It's a Q&A to celebrate reaching 10,000 subscribers. In that time since I've been meaning to do it, we've actually, thanks to you, grown to over 15,000 subscribers. So I thought, you know what, might as well do this video sooner rather than later and do a Q&A so that you, the viewer, can get to know me, the creator of these videos, a bit better. If you have sent in a question, thank you very much. If you don't hear me answer your question that you sent in, apologies in advance because there were so many questions, so I had to be a bit selective in the ones that I answer. Now let's get straight into it. Cool. One of the companies that I set up, having left Goldman, is called CV Doctor. So www.officialcvdoctor.com. This is a career consulting company which helps students and graduates and pre-university students as well prepare themselves in the best way in order to secure the best insight weeks, internships and grad schemes. Because when I was at Goldman, I realized that all of the top universities have students who have decent CVs and applications and interview skills, but there's a large population of students not at the top universities and even in the top universities who don't have a clue how to construct a strong CV or a cover letter or prepare for a phone interview or an in-person interview or an assessment center. Because it was one of the struggles that I faced in my first year. I knew there were these opportunities, I didn't know how to get them. And so this is a big problem across the UK and across the globe. There are thousands of students who want the best careers, but they don't know how to get there. And so I started this career consulting company, CV Doctor, in order to kind of tackle that. So that's one of my companies. That's the main one that relates to this page. So if you are interested, do check out the website and you can find out a bit more about it. One of the other things I do is every year, well, I started this in September 2018, it's my UK university tour. So it's where I travel the UK, going and talking to different universities all over the UK and different societies within different universities and telling them how to ace the application process, hints and tips on how to get the best offers for the best companies. If you think you'd be interested, or your university or your society would be interested in having me come and talk to you, then do drop me an email at info@afsalhussain.com, and that usually starts in September and it runs all the way to like February time. So that's one of the projects that I also started. And then you've got this YouTube channel, and then one thing I've started is advising companies on how to manage young people. So oftentimes, and when I was at Goldman's, I realized lots of graduates come into the workforce and they do 2 or 3 years and then they leave. This costs a lot of money for these companies, hiring, resources, managing millennials. It's an issue. And so I want to go and advise corporates, because I do a lot of work with young people. I do a lot of work with students, and I know a lot about the millennial workforce and the population. And so one of my projects that I'm working on is going into companies and advising their senior managers on how to manage and how to provide a good working environment for young people. So I'm working on lots of different projects, and it's all stuff that I'm passionate about, and one thing that ties all of them together is young people and careers, because I'm truly passionate about helping you guys get to where you want to get to, because when I was in your shoes I could have used that help, and so I kind of want to give back by doing that. Next question, this is from Liverpool Aussie. How do you feel working for yourself versus working for a company? Working for yourself is the dream, right? But the risks that come with it are, you can be complacent, you don't have a manager on top of you telling you you need to do this, this and this. And sometimes, you know, you're not a team, so you're on your own, you're a consultant, you're an entrepreneur. And so it can be tricky, like every single responsibility is on your head. You don't have a team that kind of can help you out. As opposed to working for a bank, you've got a team, you've got lots of people, you've got a stable salary, you know exactly how much you're gonna take home at the end of the month. But for me, the risk I've taken is to, you know, work for myself, not go and take a stable salary. I have an idea, I want to pursue it, give it a few years, see if it works. If it works, then amazing. If it doesn't, then I'll accept defeat and then I will go back into the corporate world. But this is a risk that I've been willing to take. I fully do prefer working for myself. Working for a corporate is great, and there are so many benefits to it. It's for some people and not for others. I'm one of those people that I do think working in a corporate isn't for me. I prefer doing my own thing. And so yeah, working for myself so far for the year and a bit that it's been amazing. So I personally value time over money. And this is one thing that I stress to a lot of people. Once you understand that your time is more valuable than earning millions and millions of pounds, obviously both is ideal, but I value time more than money. And so I realized that I'm 27 now. In your 20s, it's a good time to kind of take that career risk. Once you pass a certain age and life's continuous and never-ending responsibilities fall on you, it's going to be tricky to kind of take any career risk. So this is the point in my life where I'm willing to take that career risk in order to kind of set myself up for the future. And if it all works, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But make sure you understand that concept. Don't just accept a high salary and not be happy in your job. Make sure you're doing something you care about, you're passionate about, and you're interested in, because naturally the money will sort itself out, but you want to be fulfilled, you want to wake up with a purpose. All this sounds so cliche, but it's super, super important. Who inspires you? What was your upbringing like? Who inspires me? This is an easy one. My mum inspires me. She raised 5 of us as a single parent, and you know, I am who I am today thanks to my mum. She is very extremely hardworking, and she just, you know, my mum inspires me day in, day out. Second part of the question, what was your upbringing like? So I didn't go to private school, as I've mentioned before. I didn't have a really privileged background. I actually grew up in a council estate in London. For those of you that don't know what a council estate is, it's kind of like the ghetto. So I grew up, and a lot of my peers were involved in drugs, gang violence, crime, in and out of prison. But fortunately, thanks to my mum, me and my siblings, we were focused. We applied ourselves in school and we managed to do okay. So yeah, we came from very humble beginnings. A common misconception is to work for a big investment bank, you need to go to a private school. Don't get me wrong, the majority of analysts and graduates in the front office roles did go to private school. Like in front of me was a guy who went to Eton, behind me there was a guy who went to Eton, to my right in my same team there was a guy who went to Eton. For those of you that don't know Eton, just Google Eton College. It's private, top private school. Costs a hell of a lot per year for students. So yeah, I was surrounded by students who had more privileged upbringings and wealthier parents than me, but you know, I managed to get there. So it isn't to say that if you didn't go to private school you won't get into working for an investment bank. It's just, you know, you need to do your research, find something you like, and just work hard, and then you'll find your way in. So don't let that hinder your mindset to getting in. Question from .ishmael.m. Why did you choose to work in asset management over the other divisions? Good question. For me, I wanted to be in a client-facing role. I wanted to be building relationships with the clients. I didn't want to be on my desk all day long. I wanted to be out and about, going to meetings. And I didn't want to do extremely long hours like the investment banking division, and I didn't want to be on a sales and trading floor in that fast-paced, pressurized environment. And so out of all the front office divisions, asset management just worked well for me. I felt like I suited it. I felt like my skill set worked within the sales role that I was in, and naturally through my experiences before graduating, asset management just felt like it was the best area for me, and I really enjoyed it. The people that I met seemed interesting, seemed great at what they were doing, and it was an area that I thought I can start off and build a career here, and that's why I chose asset management. Question from proper.music. What's the best lesson you've learned from a book or a mentor? That is a tough question. Best lesson. This is a piece of advice someone told me when I was interning at Goldman, actually. She was a VP. She said to me, make sure you get out of your comfort zone. Magic happens outside of your comfort zone. So I try and do that as much as I can, because whenever I have stepped out of my comfort zone, I've just learned and grown so much more than I would have from staying inside my comfort zone. Oftentimes we think something is impossible or hard to do or unlikely going to happen until we step out of our comfort zones and actually try and do it. And then we realize it was actually a piece of cake. So best pieces of advice I've ever received, I would say off the top of my head, is to step out of my comfort zone. Hasnan Irain has asked, for someone who's unsure about whether they want to work in consulting or investment banking division or have their own business, what would you suggest they do to better determine what they'd love? I'm a first year student at uni? Okay, good question. I would say focus on securing as much work experience related to consulting or banking, because you want to set yourself up so that when you graduate you have an offer from a top company, because when you join that top company you can start your side business or your side hustle in your spare time. If you're serious and if you're passionate about, you know, starting your own business, I would always say for graduates and students, try and do it on the side. See if it works, see if there's demand for it, see if you pick up traction, and if you do, then you can consider doing it full time. But most importantly, you always want to have your safety net or your cushion, and that is going to be your internship, your work experience, your grad scheme offer. So my advice to you, a first year university student, focus on getting as much work experience, securing a grad scheme, but on the side start your business. And then you can have the option of doing it full time, quitting your job if you want to and if you think it's going to work. In addition, when you do start a job or a career at a top company, you earn a salary. So with that salary, you can save a lot of money and that you can invest that into your side hustle or your business. So don't just go all out on your business. Try and build a safety net or a cushion and basically have a rational risk approach. Next question from a good friend, Lucy K __. What would be your advice to someone who wants to go from a full-time salaried job to full-time working for themselves? Very good question. I would say, so I was just exactly in that position. My main thing was the money I was earning at Goldman, was I stacking enough to, one, allow me to start my own venture on the side, but two, provide a safety net or a cushion for me if my risk completely failed, then I would be safe for a few months or a year or two or whatever it might be. Now that is for you to decide how long you need a safety net for, but I would say start your company on the side as you have with Lucy Arts. Start that on the side and let it grow, and the key point to decide when to quit your job is when you are comfortable with the amount of money it's making. And if you think you quit your job, that time you get from your job, if you invest that time into your business, will it grow enough for you to see enough returns to earn a living and do what you want? Obviously there are a number of factors. Don't worry about what people say. You've got to do your own thing because you know what's best for you, and always have a backup plan. So for me it was, I'm going to pursue all these projects and do my own thing. If it all works out, great, but if it completely fails, I'm just going to do a U-turn and go back into the city and get a job in an investment bank. So you need to have your safety net. If your business doesn't work, what's going to be your backup plan? You can easily go back into, if you're a teacher, go and be a teacher. If you're working in a bank, go into a bank. Those jobs will always be there. So you've got to kind of weigh out the options and take that rational risk. But that's my advice for you. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up. It would mean a lot. And if you haven't, please do consider subscribing to the channel for weekly videos every Wednesday. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have any video suggestions, leave them in the comments below. And I will see you next Wednesday with a brand new video. Peace.